Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnana-anjana-shalakaya Chakshur-militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rūpa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rūpam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sachivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishnakantanscha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaurtushri Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishvanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarorvyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We are studying Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu. Nectar of Devotion, Chapter 1. In the last class, we started this chapter and we started discussing about pure devotional service, right? Known as Uttama Bhakti, the definition of pure devotional service. The verse is Anya Bilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadhyana Vritam Anukulyena Krishna Anushilana Bhakti-ruttama. Right? Remember? Yes. So I had spoken to you that we will look at the Sanskrit text today. In the class last time, we just read through the just a second. Huh? So we were discussing actually we were discussing the introduction, not chapter one, right? So Anya Bilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadi Navritam Anukuliyena Krishnanu Shridana Bhakti Ruttama. That is the verse. Isn't it? Am I right or wrong? Yeah? Okay. So let's look at the PPT. Uttama Bhakti. The verse is uh, Anyabhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadi Anavritam Anukulita. So here we'll see that Uttama Bhakti or pure devotional service has two kinds of characteristics. One is primary characteristic and the other is secondary characteristic. Right? Hmm. Primary and secondary. Later on, when we'll study the definition of Bhava Bhakti and Prema Bhakti, there also will come to know that they too also have primary and secondary characteristics. When you look at this verse, you can see I've highlighted different words in 5 different colors, right? Hmm. So the text which is in green color and peach color and orange color um, or gold color, That is the primary characteristic of pure devotional service. Three characteristics are there. Okay. Not, sorry, pure devotionals. Yeah, of devotional service, you can say. It's Swarupa Lakshana. Primary characteristic is known in Sanskrit as Swarupa Lakshana. Lakshana means characteristic. And secondary characteristic is known as Tatastha Lakshana. Okay. Also sometimes known as Mukhya and Gauna. So the three words Anukulyena, Krishnanu Bhakti-ruttama, these are primary characteristics of pure devotional service. Then Anya Vilashita Shunyam, Jnana Karmani Anavritam. These are secondary characteristics of pure devotional service. Okay. Hmm. Now, what are these primary characteristics? We have to understand these points very nicely. What are primary characteristics? So the primary characteristics are first, Anukulyena, Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam, Bhakti-ruttama. So there are three words here. Anukulyena is first, Krishna is second, Anushilanam is third. Fine. Anukulyena is first, Krishna is second, and Anushilanam is third. Huh? So first point is this point. Let's look at this point. Krishna. Hmm. We'll look at this point, Krishna. So devotional service is for Krishna. That's first primary characteristic. That devotional service cannot be for Shiva, for Brahma, for Kali, for Indra, for a human being, for an animal. It's for Krishna, not for anyone else. That's pure devotional service. It has to be for Krishna. This is the most essential primary characteristic that pure devotional service means it's for Krishna. That's what Prabhupada says. Bhakti means bhakti for Krishna. There cannot be bhakti for demigods. So pure devotional service is for Krishna. Now, when we say only Krishna, does it mean only Krishna uh, or whom else? So Prabhupada explains the word Krishna here means Krishna and all his expansions. Which means what? That means then it will be including Krishna and Krishna's expansions such as the Vishnu forms, like Baldev, Sankarshan, Vasudev, Aniruddha, Pratyumna, Ram, Narsingha, Varaha, etc. Right? Huh? Also, it will mean the living entities. Why? Because the living entities are also ansas of Krishna. Mamai Vamshu Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. You're getting it? So here the word Krishna does not refer to Krishna as an individual being only. Here the word Krishna refers to Krishna as the absolute truth. Which means when I have pure devotional service, I love Krishna exclusively. But within that Krishna comes everyone. It comes Krishna also, Krishna's expansions also, Krishna's spiritual world also, Krishna's material world also, Krishna's different part and parcels also. But why do I love Krishna's world? Why do I love Krishna's expansion? Why do I love living entities? Because they are coming from Krishna. I love Krishna, therefore I love them. Getting it? Hmm. Okay. So therefore, here Prabhupada explains very nicely that for us to be practicing pure devotional service, here the word Krishna should mean Krishna, his personal expansions, and his pure devotees. Also, his paraphernalia and his transcendental abode. If we have devotion towards any one of these, we are practicing pure devotional service. So this definition is neither too exclusive, neither it is too inclusive. How it's not too exclusive? When you say Krishna, it's not just Krishna alone. And how it's not too inclusive? When you say Krishna, it doesn't mean anyone and everyone. It means Krishna and anyone who is favorably connected to Krishna, I am devoted towards them. And that is devotional service, or pure devotional service. Now, sometimes people do wonder, when I go to the spiritual world, will I have friends or not? Will I be talking to other people or not? Or it will be just me and Krishna? Will I have family members? Will I have people around me? Now, it's a very stupid thought that you'll be alone with Krishna. It's not possible. You know? So it means what? It means that devotional service means you have to have God, Bhagavan, and devotees. There is a relationship with Krishna, Krishna's people, Krishna's world, Krishna's objects, everything. Right? So that's the understanding here. Krishna, the word Krishna means that. All right. Huh? So this is very important to understand. Krishna. Pure devotional service is for Krishna, not for anyone else. Hmm? Okay. Of all the primary characteristics, this is the most essential. Fine. Any question on this point? Yes, Victor.
Hare Krishna Prabhu Dandavat Pranam. So devotional service to Vaishnavas, that it's part of Krishna's service as well, yeah? Pure devotional service.
Can you please repeat?
Devotional service to Vaishnavas, to other devotees. Is that considered part of pure devotional service as well?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. You can have devotion towards devotees, you can have devotion towards holy dham, you can have devotion towards Krishna's paraphernalia, anything.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yes, Madhumati Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam to you. I'm just kind of wondering, is there any particular reason why the primary characteristics are written at the later part of the shloka?
We'll come to know that.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the first characteristic, right? Krishna. Now the second characteristic is Anushīlanam. Anushīla. Anu means to follow behind. Anushīlanam means an activity. Some activities which are a sort of cultivation. So Anushīlana means you are cultivating devotional service. Following in the footsteps of whom? In the footsteps of previous acharyas. It's an activity which is done to Krishna, for Krishna, right? Anushīlana. That's why Prabhupada says, without activity, consciousness cannot help us alone, which means we need to do something for Krishna. If I love Krishna, I need to do something for Krishna. There has to be activity. So there are two kinds of activities, one positive, another negative, which means if you love Krishna, you should be doing something, and if you love Krishna, you should not be doing something. Correct? Right? The things should be done is called pravritti in Sanskrit. The things which should be avoided is called nivritti. Now, why the word anu is used? The word anu is used because without the assistance of parampara, the disciplic succession, we cannot connect to Krishna. So therefore, we have to do activities following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas, right? When we take initiation, that ensures purity in our service, that ensures selflessness in our service to Krishna. Without initiation, we cannot connect with Krishna. Therefore, the word anu is used. Mm. Prabhupada writes there in the purport, we had read this line, that in other words, energy is a sort of strength, and this strength can be spiritualized by the mercy of both the bona fide spiritual master and Krishna. So this is something again very essential. Bhakti can never be directly done. Bhakti is always done through the via medium of Guru, spiritual master, which is Krishna's spiritual energy. Because we need to understand how a jiva functions. A jiva can never function independently. A jiva is either controlled by Krishna's material energy or by spiritual energy, as you studied in Bhagavad Gita, right? So, being controlled by spiritual energy means what? The jiva has to be controlled by a personality who is under the influence of the spiritual energy, or who is carrying the spiritual energy, right? In normal circumstances, in material life, a living entity is controlled by whom? A living entity is controlled by his family members, his friends, his society, his nation, his neighborhood, right? People around him control him, right? So these people are being controlled by material energy of Krishna. So indirectly, material energy is controlling that living entity. So now when I agree to be controlled by pure devotees of Krishna, because those pure devotees of Krishna are embodiment of Krishna's spiritual energy, so I am being controlled by Krishna's spiritual energy. And that's what makes my connection to Krishna. Energy is a sort of strength. This is called Bala. Bala means strength. And this Bala comes from Adi Guru, who is Balaram. Therefore, Guru is said to be the manifestation of Balaramji. Okay, yeah. Okay, so that's the meaning of Anushīlanam. Which means what? Devotional service is an active engagement. Activities done for Krishna. That's devotional service. Following in the footsteps of previous acharyas. It's not passive. Therefore, in this book, Rūpa Gosvāmī will give us a list of activities that we should be doing in sadhana bhakti. What we should be doing and what we should not be doing. He mentions very clearly. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna does not give that much detail. But in Nectar of Devotion, Rūpa Gosvāmī gives those details. Fine. Next point. The next is Anukulyena. So it's mentioned that you should do activities for Krishna. But if I do activities for Krishna, will it be called devotional service only in that case? I mean, to give you an example, if I do activities related to Krishna, just because it's related to Krishna, will it become devotional service? Like Kamsa trying to kill Krishna. It's related to Krishna. So because it's related to Krishna, will Kamsa's activity become devotional service?
No.
No. Therefore, Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī uses the third characteristic here, anukulyena, which means, okay, you want to do something for Krishna, do it with favorable intention. Anukul, which means your intention should be to please Krishna. Then it is bhakti or pure devotional service. Because Krishna is Bhagavan, someone may try to kill Krishna and still Krishna may be very, very happy or enjoying. Krishna will never become sad, right? So just because Krishna is happy with someone, does it mean that person has done devotional service? Not necessarily. No? When Krishna was fighting with the demons would also please Krishna by giving him an opportunity to fight and giving him an opportunity to protect his devotees. That means they also bring a smile on Krishna's face. But we cannot say the demons are doing bhakti. Isn't it correct? So we can say bhakti is not an activity that accidentally or incidentally pleases Krishna. Bhakti must be an activity performed with the intention to please Krishna. Right? That's bhakti. So this is very important, that favorable attitude is required. Without that favorable attitude, activities done for Krishna cannot be called devotional service. So to give you an example, now here, Mother Yashoda, she is churning the yogurt with butter, right? And Krishna comes at that time and he jumps into the lap of Mother Yashoda. He wants Mother Yashoda's attention. And he starts sucking on the breast of Mother Yashoda. But when Mother Yashoda realizes that the milk in the pot inside the kitchen is going to boil over and fall out of the vessel, he keeps Krishna down on the floor and rushes into the kitchen. Apparently, she displeased Krishna because she put Krishna on the floor. And Krishna was angry also. But what she did is still considered to be devotional service. Why? Because the intention to put Krishna on the floor was not to displease Krishna. The intention to put Krishna on the floor was to go save the milk, which she is going to use to please Krishna. Right? So in devotional service, apparently Krishna may get angry with you. That doesn't mean you are not a devotee. Because your intention was to please Krishna. Or sometimes Krishna may not be angry with you, he may be very happy with you for what you have done. But if you have not done it with the intention to please Krishna, then that's not devotional service. So this is something which we have to understand, which means our devotional service is not really dependent on how Krishna reacts or reciprocates. Our intention has to be pure. And that's pure devotional service. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in Sri Shikshashtakam prayer, what is the last verse? Ashlishya padratam pinashtumam adarshanan marmahatam karotu va. So what he's saying is, I am your devotee. Now, in reciprocation, whether you embrace me or you reject me. Which means my devotion is not basically, is not basically something affected by the way you reciprocate. My devotion will continue to be there. Right? So this is the definition of pure devotional service. Anukulyena. It should be done with this anukul bhav. I want to please Krishna. I want to please Krishna. I want to make Krishna happy. Or in other words, we can always pray to Krishna or express to Krishna that Krishna, please be pleased with my devotional service. Please be pleased with my services. Please be pleased with my chanting. Please be pleased with this particular bhoga I'm offering to you. So please be pleased. That mood should be there. Attitude should be there. To please. Okay. Any question? Yes, Victor Prabhu.
When we are performing service for the Lord and He is not pleased with us, how we can understand that one? That He is not pleased.
If he is not pleased with us, how shall we understand it?
Mm.
If you're doing service for him and he's not happy. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
There are many ways you will get to know. One is you'll get to know through your spiritual master. If the spiritual master is pleased with you, Krishna is pleased with you. If Krishna is not pleased with you, spiritual master will also not be pleased with you. And second thing is that we will not feel that satisfaction in our devotional service. We'll feel like something is missing. Krishna is not pleased with us. Yeah.
And it can be as well, maybe you can get a reaction. Like
Yeah, you may get reaction, but then reactions are just like some kind of signals.
Mm.
You may get some signals. And most importantly, we'll start losing taste in bhakti.
Mm.
We'll not feel like chanting, we'll not feel like hearing Krishna Katha, we'll not feel like practicing bhakti, we'll not feel nice in devotee association.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
So those ways you can understand. Sudhir Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams. Prabhuji, connected question to what Victor Prabhu asked. So if Krishna is sometimes smiling, and you said that it's not that he's always pleased when he smiles. So when bringing down that to devotee levels, sometimes even though devotees might be happy with this, so how do we understand, how do we apply this principle at the level of devotees?
You ask
to
them.
really know whether they're pleased or not.
You ask them. You can ask them. We can always ask the devotees who we are trying to please. Rather than assuming whether that person is pleased or not, better check.
Yeah. Yes.
Because you see, in any relationship, till the time you are not able to connect to a person through your heart, and that person is also not connected through his or her heart, you cannot understand that person's mind. So you will not know whether what you have done has pleased that person or not pleased that person. You have to be really close to someone to really know what pleases that person, what does not please that person. Right?
Yes. True.
For that, you need to know that person's nature, you need to know that person's past, you need to know that person's purpose in life, you need to know how does that person serve with Krishna, what is his way or her way of serving Krishna. Then you would know what pleases that person, what does not please that person. Like we cannot impose our ways of doing things on someone and then expect that that person should be happy. Isn't it? Now for that, you have to really spend time with, let's say, we take the example of spiritual master. So you need to spend time with your spiritual master to know what spiritual master likes, what he or he does not like. It takes time, and after giving that time to yourself, then you will start experimenting upon what you have learned, and then you will come to know, okay, yeah, this thing pleases him, this thing does not please him in this situation, in that situation. And if we are not at that level of relationship with our spiritual master or any Vaishnava, then best is to always ask, should I do this for you? Right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's more safe rather than whimsically assuming and doing.
Yeah. Thank you
Getting
very
it?
much. Yes.
This is something very important. I mean, after coming to Krishna consciousness, we should understand one thing that um, because we are conditioned souls, our all efforts and attempts to take an initiative are inspired by lust and not love. Because I am a conditioned soul. We should be like convinced with this, that all my initiatives are inspired by lust, not love. Right? Isn't it? So when I'm trying to do something, there should always be a thought in mind whether I'm trying to impose my lust on someone or something. And therefore, it's best to check. Therefore, even when we want to do some seva, we want to start some project, we first check with the spiritual master. Should I do this? Will this please Krishna? Or it's just that I'm trying to impose my lust? Right? And the spiritual master says, okay, yes, you can do this service. Then you're getting permission. Fine. With your service, with your attempts, you'll be doing something that may please Krishna. So that's very important. Very, very important. We have to always check. So in that way, when they give a sanction, yes, do it, then it's like, okay, yeah, there are some chances that in my efforts now, I'll not be inspired by material consciousness, but I'll be inspired by the divine consciousness. Now, when you have started practicing doing that, slowly after 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, then that will become your nature. Now you will know what will please and what will not please. Right? Now, because you have become seasoned, spiritually seasoned, then you don't have to ask question. Then you don't have to take permission. Then you exactly know, if I do this, my spiritual master will be happy.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay. Yes, Priyatama Gaurangi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, thank you so much, because earlier, like when there's a service, sometimes there are like just beginners coming in, they want to do some service, and the seniors blow up sometimes. So that would really affect me, that how can a senior do that? But I realize that is committing a lot of offense, and that would not please Krishna. But it still does affect me sometimes. So how do I do that? Because now even I realize they are doing this service, yeah, to please Krishna. But then what about those beginners? Because sometimes, when we get to interact with them, they don't want to turn back for the way they were spoken. So how do I not commit an offense here? Because now even speaking something is wrong. Not against, but still it's wrong. So how to deal with that?
Beginners in what sense?
There,
You are
there's a
dealing with a beginner.
G, what?
You are dealing with a beginner.
No, I'm not dealing. Suppose there's a celebration in the temple and few just girls come in to help, and they make a mistake, and sometimes the seniors just blow up in them and they look at me. Suppose my friends, they come along and they're like, we're not coming back again then. So, but I
Yeah, so
realize now,
in that situation, if you are bringing someone to a seva with you, it's your responsibility to teach everything that that person should be knowing while doing that seva. I mean, if I bring someone and I don't inform that person or I don't teach that person how things should be done, and then someone finds fault in that person that you're not doing it correctly, and that person then shouts or screams or chastises, then okay, that person might be wrong because that person should have done this in a more gentle manner. But I am also wrong because I also did not train that person before taking that person to seva.
okay,
So first I should train that person. It's simple. Like seva is being given to me. So someone who's giving me seva has some expectations from me. So if I'm taking someone's help in that seva, or if I'm encouraging someone else to help me in that seva, I should also train that person. If I don't do that, then it's my fault. Because when I am not the authority in an area, then if I'm working under someone else's authority, that person has a right to chastise or correct or even shout and scream. But if I'm in an area where I am like the whole and sole authority, then I can be very lenient. If someone is doing a mistake, okay, don't worry, no problem, it's okay, fine.
and suppose
But if
they're not my friends, they bought by someone else. So, as a third
so, then
person,
what
do I
can we do?
feel bad?
Then what can we do? If someone is
But then
doing
should we
something to
feel bad?
someone, feel bad and then forget it. If you cannot do something about something, why worry then? If you can do something, do something. If you cannot do something about it, why worry? Either do
But
something
thinking,
about it or don't worry about it. Just by thinking about it, what can you do? So we should not let our environment affect us so much. Mind your business. Otherwise, things will keep on going around us and we'll just get entangled in it.
just a confession, like sometimes, when seniors blow up, we know they're right. Means for me, I'm just saying, we know they're right, but that a past that really seniors can speak like this. So that is an
Why they cannot?
offense.
Why they cannot speak like that? Why they cannot speak like that? Senior or junior, it doesn't matter. If we are doing some seva for Krishna and if it's really for Krishna, and if someone is doing a mistake, why someone cannot blow up? That person can blow up. Maybe our love for Krishna is not that strong, so we don't see any offense. For us, it's okay.
Okay. It's not right to judge anyone.
Yeah. Like, why judge? Because you don't know how is that person feeling or seeing. And if you really have differences of opinion, then stop doing seva in that place. Right? Either you accept the situation or you go away from the situation. You can't be like, okay, they are wrong and still I have to be with them. Why? Then you make your path and you be away and do serve Krishna the way you like to serve Krishna. What's wrong with that? If we strongly feel that the environment, the mood in a particular community, in a particular group of devotees, in a particular temple is not the way am happy with, so get out of it. Go somewhere else. Do serve Krishna the way you want to serve. But if you are there, accept it the way it is. Or you change it if you can.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
We have to be very focused. Otherwise, what are we able to achieve? Nothing. We are just like, okay, I'm spending my time. So we have to be very clear about what we want, how we want, and we should do it. If you are not happy with the particular setup of devotional services happening around us, get out of it and do something on your own, maybe small. Krishna will accept seva anywhere. If you're not happy to serve in a temple, serve in your house. Krishna will accept seva in house also. So that's the thing. Next, Jagatarini Vishakava.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Pranam. Prabhu, in services, to some extent, it is okay to remember Krishna's pleasure. But whereas in provocating situations, even to think about Krishna's pleasure, it is very difficult. Can you help me? How should I check my behavior when I am responding to particular situation or to particular devotee?
Forget about situations, Maharaj. Here we are talking about the underlying feeling in our heart. If we cultivate that consciousness, regardless of how you respond in situation, your consciousness will always be, I want to please Krishna. To give you an example, in that situation, Mother Yashoda had to drop Krishna onto the floor. Right? So situations are not in our hand.
Yes.
In some situation, I'll react apparently in a positive manner. In some situation, I'll react in a negative manner. Right? But my underlying sentiment should be what? Foundational sentiment should be what? I want to please Krishna. I want to please Krishna. I want to please Krishna. So for pleasing Krishna, sometimes you may even shout at a devotee. If it's done for pleasing Krishna, you may even sometimes shout at a devotee. But the underlying sentiment is, I want to please Krishna. And that's why a devotee should not be so much affected by these kind of, emotional turbulences that we see around us when we are serving with other devotees, because you don't know how the love that that devotee has for Krishna coming out. Right?
Yes.
Like, to give you an example, a father is there, a mother is there, and they have a child. They both love the child so much. Okay. Now the child is climbing the swing. Huh? And the mother is running behind. Beta, be careful. Don't put your feet there, otherwise you'll fall. Catch my hand. Do this, do that, do that. The mother is just behind the child. And the father is standing there and laughing. And the father is saying, let him fall once. It's okay. Until he falls, he'll not learn. So now the mother may start thinking, what kind of father you are? You're laughing? My child is going to fall. So what is happening here is that father also loves the child, that mother also. But the love is coming out in a different manner. Now at that time you cannot say, I love more, you don't love. Right? So that's the thing which happens many times. So we need to understand. Therefore, the best way to avoid offenses towards devotees is what, don't judge their sincerity of purpose. Don't judge their intention. Offenses start happening when we start thinking this devotee does not have good intentions.
Yes.
Right? But when you start thinking that devotee has good intentions, but the devotee's way of expressing love for Krishna is little different from my way of expressing love for Krishna. Right?
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Like, to give you an example, if there's a temple leader in the temple, always thinking about how will we get money? How will we get money? This temple has to grow. This temple has to survive. How will we get money? And always talking to devotees, money, money, money. We want money, get members, get this, get donation. So you might be thinking, is money everything? But then maybe that person's way of expressing his concern for devotional service is this. You getting it?
Yes.
And is it wrong? No, money is also important. So fine, I may not be of that nature. So I may keep distance from that devotee, that your way of loving Krishna is a bit different from my way of loving Krishna. But I will not say that you don't love Krishna. Yes.
Yes.
So what's wrong? Let that person love Krishna the way he or she likes, and let me love Krishna the way I like. And if there is clash, then you go apart from each other. Okay. Right. Any other thing, please? So these are the primary characteristics. Now the secondary characteristics. The secondary characteristics are which two? Anyabhilashita shunyam and jnana karmadi anavritam. This one. This and this. So these secondary characteristics are like filter after what you do has passed through the first three primary characteristics. It's like, whatever you do should pass through the first three filters, and then that should also pass through these two filters, then it will become pure devotion service. Understanding? So, fine, you are trying to do something for Krishna. Fine, you are doing an activity following in the footsteps of previous acharyas. Fine, you want to please Krishna. But if you also want something for you, then it is not pure devotion service. Right? Therefore, first secondary characteristic is anya bilashita shunyam. Zero. Anya. Anya means other. Abhilashita. There are two words here. One is abhilasha and the other is abhilashita. Abhilasha means desire. Rūpa Gosvāmī did not use the word anya abhilasha shunyam, free from other desires. He used the word abhilashita. What does that mean now? Can a pure devotee who is a grihastha, who has a son, not desire that my son should have a good, happy life? Should or not? Should. But then, how is that desire related to Krishna? My son should have a good, happy life.
If the son is happy, he'll be able to serve happily to Lord Krishna, provided
But
his base is strong.
let's say the son will not serve Krishna. Son may not be a devotee. Then a pure devotee should think my son should go to hell. No, still a pure devotee will always want my son should be happy in life. So that kind of desire, if a pure devotee has, does that make that pure devotee does that make that devotee not a pure devotee?
No.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. When in this particular context, the pure devotee sees his son as like the consciousness is he's seeing his son as part and parcel of Krishna, and Krishna gave this particular soul to be under his. So he's because
okay. That's how that devotee sees perception. That's a different thing. I'm just asking here if that devotee has this little desire that my son should be here. Will this desire make that devotee not a pure devotee?
No.
Because he's wishing well for everyone. It's pure.
I'm asking yes or no. You say
yes.
It will make that devotee not a pure devotee.
No. He's still a pure devotee.
Still a pure devotee, right?
No.
Correct.
Yes.
So that's why Rūpa Gosvāmī has not used the word abhilasha, he used the word abhilashita, which means even a pure devotee in some situations may get material desires or desires not related to Krishna. But that is not his or her nature. Which means abhilashita means desireness, the quality to desire. So Rūpa Gosvāmī is saying that A conditioned soul is always desiring something for his or her happiness. Like every moment, I want this, I want that, I want to be happy, and selfish desires are there, full of selfish desires, right? Isn't it? Hmm? So when we become pure devotees or when we are practicing pure devotional service, at least will not be like that. Which doesn't mean that momentary once in blue moon, you may not get a desire. You may get a desire. Hmm? Like to give you an example, if I'm in danger and my life is at risk, at that time, even a pure devotee may pray to Krishna, Krishna, please help. Now, this prayer is not that I want to do something to Krishna to please Krishna. I'm asking Krishna for help. Save me, Krishna, protect me. Which means, in one sense, I am being selfish here, right? But if I do it only at the time of some accident or some danger, it does not affect pure devotional service. If every day I go to the temple only with this prayer, Krishna, please protect me. Morning, afternoon, evening, Krishna, please protect me, Krishna. Then it's not pure devotional service. You getting it? If every moment I'm just praying to Krishna, protect me, protect me, protect me. I should not die. Everything should be good in my family. Then it's not pure devotional service. But if I'm in a dangerous situation and then I ask Krishna for protection, only in that situation, then that is not affecting pure devotion service. Therefore, Rupa Goswami says, one should be free from desireness, not one should be free from material desires. Getting it? For 6 days, you have not gotten food to eat. So then if you pray to Krishna, Krishna, can I get something so that I can survive? That will not be considered against devotional service, pure devotional service. But if whole day I'm thinking, okay, I want paneer, I want gulab jamun, I want something nice to eat, I'm a foodie person, then that is not pure devotional service. Because we are in material world and we have a material body and material mind, sometimes we may have desires to fulfill the needs of the body. Expressing those desires are not against pure devotional service. But to be only approaching Krishna with those desires at all times, that is not pure devotion. That's against pure devotion. So we should always check, what is my wavelength? I mean, if I'm whole day, my consciousness is like, I'm serving Krishna because of this problem, or I want this from Krishna, then I'm not practicing pure devotion. But occasionally, rarely, sometimes I get this thought, if I can get this from Krishna, then yes, I might be practicing pure devotion service. So therefore he says, Anya abhilashita shunyam. One should be free from desireness, not from desires. One should be free from desireness. Because we, being in material world, will certainly sometimes, just for survival, have material desires. Otherwise, we will not survive. Okay. Not survive. So this is something very important. That's why when we read Bhagavad Gita, you remember? Chapter 9, this verse was there. Apiche suturacharya bhajate mam sadhureva samantatya samyavasati sangha. Dear Prabhupada writes, Sometimes in some situations, a devotee might act in ways which is not much appreciated. And we may even condemn a devotee. How can you behave like this? But a devotee might have acted in that situation just because of the situation. And that may not be really the nature of that devotee. To give you another very crude example to better understand. Let's say some devotee who is a brahmachari has not eaten for the whole day and is like too hungry. And then the devotee goes to the prasadam hall. Everyone is standing in the queue. And that devotee just breaks the queue and goes to the first position and starts putting prasad on the plate and goes to sit, start eating. Now, in that situation, we may say, behave like a pure devotee. No, stand in the queue, go to the back. Now, if that person is doing that every day, that's the nature of that person, then we may say, okay, you're wrong. But if you see that person doing it in some circumstance, then it's okay. Circumstantially, you have done it. I'll give you an example now how to understand this better. If Parikshit Maharaj was putting dead snakes around every single sage he met, he'll not be considered a pure devotee, right? But he put a dead snake around the neck of one sage only in his life, his whole life. That also because of the situation. So that's why that act did not make him fall from the position for pure devotee. You're getting it? Hmm? Yeah. He disrespected the sage, but that was not his nature always. That circumstance he did it. Madhu.
Prabhuji, I just want to clarify one thing. Like every day, I pray to Krishna to protect my children and also to keep them under his shelter and get them eventually to his lotus feet. I understand this is not pure devotional service, but is it also wrong to pray this way?
No problem. Pray. It's okay. Pray. That's fine. But that should not be the only prayer to Krishna. Not that every time I go to temple, this is the only thing I pray. Fine. So dear Prabhu.
Prabhu, this desireness, can it be understood like in that when someone is having this quality, he is more of too much self-centered?
When one is like always having a desire,
then
it's like a person is very selfish.
Too much self-centered, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Prabhuji, like we pray to our house deities regarding everything that happens during the day, good, bad, everything. So is that desireness?
Pray for what?
No, I mean you share with your house deity, okay, this happened, good, bad, everything you share with, I mean, you know how the day has been.
Sharing something is not praying, no?
Okay, so
Praying
we
means
can
asking.
continue to share.
Pray means you ask. Sharing something is not praying.
Okay.
Sharing something means you're talking.
Thank you.
Talking is different from praying. Next quality or characteristic for pure devotional services, our activities should not be covered by jnana and karma. Jnana karmadi anavritam, which means our activities should not be covered by Gyan, Karma, Adi. Adi means other paths, the path of yoga, the path of this, the path of that. Which means our activities should be principally devotional in nature. Not that, we get influenced by Ashtanga yoga, we get influenced by astrology, we get influenced by Varnashram system, we get influenced by Vedic dharma, culture. No, principle should be devotional service. These all things should be secondary, which means they should never start covering our bhakti, right? To give a very crude example, a devotee who's chanting 16 hours every day can take out 15 minutes to do pranayama. No problem. But it should not be like I'm doing pranayama for 6 hours and I'm chanting for 2 hours. Then what is happening? Pranayama or Ashtanga yoga is covering my bhakti. I'm giving more importance to Ashtanga yoga or pranayama, right? So these things should not cover bhakti. They should not become more important than bhakti. Jnana karma adi anavritam. Then that's pure devotional service. When other activities become more important for us than devotional service, when we start giving more priority to them than devotional service, then those activities are covering our devotional service. That's not pure devotional service. So these secondary characteristics, they make general devotional service into actually pure devotional service. These two, Anya Bilashita Shunyam and Jnana Karmadi Anavrita. They increase the purity of our seva. Right? So none of these activities should shadow our devotional service. Like, for example, if we have to go to Gayaji or some other place, holy place, to offer pinda to our forefathers. So that doesn't mean that, okay, I'm so engrossed in those ritualistic ceremonies, I forgot to chant my 16 hours. Then what is happening? That activity is overpowering my devotional service, or is actually shadowing my devotional service. So living in this world, we may have to do things which are not on track with devotional service, but they should never become a priority first. Second, they should not be against devotional service. Third, they should support our devotional service. Only to that extent they should be done. And therefore, the safest thing is what? The safest thing is, out of 24 hours, we should at least take out 6 to 7 hours for pure Krishna conscious activities, which means chanting, serving the deity, hearing lecture, doing some kirtan, cooking or serving Krishna, fucking Krishna, which means we should be engrossed in activities which are directly one of the limbs of bhakti. Otherwise, our other activities will start shadowing our devotional service. They'll become more prominent or important for us. If I'm just busy earning money, karma is covering my bhakti, right? If I'm just busy getting knowledge, then jnana is covering my bhakti, right? If I'm just busy trying to be peaceful in life. Yoga is covering my bhakti. Ashtanga yoga or dhyana yoga. If I'm always thinking, oh, I'm a brahmachari, I'm a brahmachari, I'm a brahmachari, oh, I'm a grihastha, I'm a grihastha, I'm a grihastha, I'm a brahmana, I'm a brahmana, then varnashram is covering my devotional service. I'm always, oh, I'm a renunciate, vairagi, vairagi, vairagi. Then vairagya is covering my devotional service. Okay, understood. Mhm. Yes, Madhumati Mataji.
Prabhuji, if I do Gopi Git alone at home for obviously Krishna, would that be considered as pure devotee? Because I will not have any devotee around me, just me alone.
If you do Gopi Git alone,
Yeah, at home, if I sing Gopi Git in the temple at home alone, I mean, I won't have any devotee around me. Would that be considered as pure devotional service? Because I'm singing it for Krishna, to please Krishna.
yeah, of course.
Not necessarily that it has to be amongst other devotees. I can do it myself also, right?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Mhm. Yes, any other? Any other question? So understood the definition of pure devotional service? Yeah. Okay. So now we have some verse, another verse which Rupa Goswami quoted from Narad Pancharatra. Just to say that the definition of devotional service that I am giving is not a concoction. It is based on scriptures. So Narad Muni has compiled this verse, Sarvopadi Vinirmuktam Tatpadatrena Nirmalam Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhaktiruchyate. Now Rupa Goswami is saying my verse, which is my definition of pure devotional service, is exactly based on this verse. So all the 5 elements that were there in Anya Vilashita Shunyam are found in this verse also. Just the names, the words are different, right? So how like you compare that? So this is how we find similarity. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam is matching to Krishnanu Śrīla. Okay, Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam is same as Krishnanu Śrīla. Then Anukulyena is same as Tatparatvena. Anyavilashita Shunyam is same as Sarvopadi Vinirmuktam. And Jnana Karmadi Anavritam is same as Nirmalam. So the definition of pure devotional service is already given in the scripture. But Rupa Goswami compiled the definition in his own words. But it's not a concoction. Understood? Sarvapadhi Nirmuktam means what? I don't have any identity other than I'm Krishna's devotee or servant. So when I have no other identity, my only identity, I'm Krishna's servant, my desires will be all based on that. So I will not have other desires. Our other desires are because of our other identities. So Sarvapadi Vinirmuktam. Then Nirmalam means my activities are pure. So which means no jnana, no karma, no yoga. They are not covered by this. Right? Tatparatvena. Tatparatvena means it's done for. So Anukulyena, my activities are done for. And Rishikena, Rishikesha Sevana. For whom? Rishikena, same as Krishna. Right? Sevanam, Seva means activity, same as Anushilanam. Activity. Not just thought or sentiment. It's a cultivation. There it is Bhakti Uchyate, here it is Bhakti Uttama. Narad says this is Bhakti, and Rūpa says this is Uttama Bhakti. Okay. Thank you. So the chapter gets over now. Any question, please? If yes, you can ask. Yes, Madhumati Madhush.
Prabhuji, the question that I asked before, if you could reply to that, why was the primary characteristic written later?
Because the secondary characteristic made the devotional service more pure. So it's like on top of it. Primary is there, secondary is on top of it.
No, primary
First,
is what it should be, and the secondary are the characteristics to complete the primary characteristics, right?
yes, yes. That's why it's on top. Anya Vilashim. That's one thing. Second thing, in Sanskrit, it doesn't matter what comes first, what comes later. Sometimes first and second is done just because of poetry. Because, it should fit in that meter. So that's why in Sanskrit, the order is not really always important, because the composer has to take care of everything. The words, the number of syllables, the meter, right? That's why sometimes just to suit the meter, the syllables, the line, the words are interchanged or put in different positions. It's not English. So therefore, sometimes what is most important will be last. Sometimes what is most important will be first. Sometimes what is most important will be in the middle. Because it has to be a poem. Dayalu Govind Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat. Prabhuji, a couple of questions. So one of them was, so sometimes you have the desire that may I be able to serve the Lord like this continuously. Say, for example, I have done some service nicely, and then you have sometimes the desire that may I be able to serve like this only every time. So is that a desire or is it an attachment to that service? How do we understand that, Prabhuji?
It's an attachment to that service, basically. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's an attachment to that service, but there's nothing wrong with it. Because we cannot become completely pure in just one day. So let us be attached to some seva, and let us do that seva for maybe years and years and years, and then we'll become purified sufficiently. So then we will express to Krishna that I have whatever seva you give to me, it's okay.
So that will not be considered pure devotional service, no, Prabhuji? Will that be considered pure devotional service?
You are on the path of your devotional service. Maybe not 100% pure, but 40% pure.
Okay. Got it, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. A second question was with more or less we are working lifestyles right now, so we put our lot of time in work, and then is that like we are putting Krishna in the second? How do you say? We are keeping it as a second priority and keeping our work as a higher priority because we are engaging so
You're
much in our
just
work.
because you have to earn money, then it's Krishna is second priority. But if you're working because I need money to serve Krishna, then it's okay.
Got it, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Prabhuji, is it important to memorize both the verses and remember them, though they mean the same? Is it important to remember both the verses and memorize them, though they mean the same?
Yeah, you have to memorize both, no? It's there in the memorization shloka list. Okay. All right, we'll stop here then. See you. Not on Thursday. I'll not be able to take the class on Thursday. We'll do the class on Monday.